What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome back to our race review after the Hungarian Grand Prix. Of course, a very controversial Grand Prix now after the race. But let's get into the news before the race. And Haas and Ferrari have agreed a new deal to continue supplying engines to Haas from Ferrari. FP1 though, and it was topped by Carlos Sainz on a very warm Friday morning. However, going into FP2, and it was Lando Norris who did start to show the pace of the McLarens throughout the weekend, and it is FP2 where Norris topped it. But there was also this crash for Charles Leclerc, which ended his session and brought out a red flag. There's also an almost identical crash with Zhou Guanyu. He almost took out the Red Bull there of Sergio Perez. FP3 and Norris tops it once more, and then we're all set to go into qualifying on Saturday, and it was topped by Daniel Ricciardo, who set the fastest lap towards the end of the session when the track was getting drier. However, out in Q1 was Gasly and Ocon, who didn't go out at the end of Q1. Zhou, Russell and Perez, who was out in P16 because of this crash he had early on in the session, meaning he couldn't go for a second run. Quite a big hit, though, on the left-hand side of the Red Bull. Of course, they bought upgrades for this race weekend. Q2, though, and it was now topped by Lando Norris, and this time out was Magnussen, Sargent, Albon, Bottas and Hulkenberg in P11. Going into Q3 though, and Norris once again tops it with a red flag in between his runs. Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Sainz, Hamilton, Leclerc, Alonso, Stroll, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, and that was the top 10 for Q3 on Saturday, and that will make the grid up. But it wasn't without a crash for Yuki Tsunoda in between. Then big crash, just jumps up, almost going over the top of the barrier. But thankfully he did not, and we continued on into the race though, and towards the start we thought, wow, this is boring. But then McLaren became indecisive and let Piastri win the race somehow. And it really shouldn't have happened, I don't think, because Norris, they should have thought about the championship. Norris, if he loses he finishes in P2, but Oscar Piastri, of course, has won his first race, so well done to him. But Norris, think about the championship. If he loses it by 7 points, then I don't think he's going to be very happy. But he finishes in P2, a 1-2 for McLaren, first time since Monza 2021. And Hamilton getting his 200th podium behind the two McLarens. And a very good finish for the Mercedes, who have looked very strong recently, going into the second half of the season as well. Going on to best team, though, and of course it has to be McLaren with a 1-2 finish. Just because, well, if this is the start of something, then this is going to be amazing. Worst team, though, and it has to be Alpine. They started the second half of the season like they did at the start of the season. Worst cars in Q1, and then only finished 19th and 20th with Gasly retiring. For the rest of the grid, though, after the podium was Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Tsunoda, Stroll, top 10, Alonso, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, Albon, Magnussen, Bottas, Sargent, Ocon, Zhou and Gasly. And if you have enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.